becomes an idea, right? Like everything comes from a thought. And it's a thought that pops in, and it's either good, progressing in a way that you want, or say it's like something that's trying to cling on as a negative thought. And so you can filter those and decide which ones. But
Hmm.
it's just a lot of people don't realize that like it just all the things that you hear, like when you master your thoughts, you master, like all those little like sayings, they're
Hmm.
all so true when you
Hmm.
actually think about it. Like master your thoughts. Okay. And then what was it? Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now or The New Earth or
Yeah,
whatever, when
yeah,
there's the one sentence where he says, it's when the one thought ends and the new thought begins. It's the space in between where you want to
yeah. It's
be.
where the now is. Yeah, and
But when you're reading,
your thought is everything that is your thinking is everything that is not what's happening right now. If I were to look down at the table that the computer's on and start examining it, and as I look around and I'm just enjoying it, that is the now. But if I stop doing that, or while I'm doing it, it's like, oh man, tomorrow I got this work to do, or man, today that thing happened and it brought that's those are the thoughts coming in. But enjoying this table and seeing the cool patterns as the wood was cut and stained, that me enjoying that is the now. And that's being outside of thought.
yeah, because the thoughts just want to pull you to the future or pull you to the past, but you really all you have is now. And that's when you're in the present, which would you're in the heart centered of enjoying actually being in the moment. And that's what
Mhm.
it's all supposed to be. But it's like we were never taught this.
No,
Like,
it's like there is I don't you know, growing up Christian, I don't remember any time being taught that. It's like, or maybe if I was, it was never like explained. Like maybe my parents said something just enough to do with the religion. It was just like trying, like, I guess it was like, it's almost like in times when you're like, I want to talk to you, want to talk to you, want to talk to you. Now I got something to say. And it's just like, be patient. Just go do something else. Because at doing something else is technically being in the now and distracting yourself from whatever thought is in your mind that has made you want to have that conversation with them, to ask them a question, to bug them, to need something. I mean, some of them might be like, I need food, that's something right now. But you know what I mean?
yeah,
It's like, but
it's
they
like
don't
go
know
play
that
with
that's what it is. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. And like it's also too about what they say with meditation too, which
Hmm.
like I can't it's like everything was almost set up in a way to not realize how to access things. Like for years, hearing people meditate or talking about meditating, I was like, oh, it's so hard. I can't do it. And it's like the thoughts come in, but those thoughts are actually trying to keep you from meditating, those thoughts, because you're not used to being still and not realizing that everything you can access is from there. It's not just necessarily like, I mean, sitting still and doing that is being in the now, but there's it like even grounding and like, calling in the protection and different things. Everybody can do it in their own way. It's just getting you down and anchoring in and being in like and getting you to that frequency and getting you there. It's just there's so many different ways to do it. And
Hmm.
then once you learn and get in there, then you realize like, there's infinite amount of knowledge there, but people just
Hmm.
don't, they're like, if people really just knew that and didn't realize it's not just about like there's just it's like the gateway to everything, to the universe, really, right? But nobody really explains that.
No,
Like
no.
gateway to the universe is through meditation, but everybody's like, meditating. What are you doing? Right?
Well, that's because they're only thinking about that one point of getting to quiet your mind and escaping thought, and then you stop there and you sit there. It's like, no, you get there, and yeah, it's like you said, it's a gate. The next step is to walk through the gate and experience what's on the other side of it.
And that looks like to every person, it looks differently. Just like, like when you and I are going into a meditation, like for you, you see visually. And for me, it looks different. Like I hear. And for each person, I mean, like what is it with some people, like I think it's Natty. She sees like a lot of things in cartoons. Like it's to what people what you own your individual like associate stuff with, right?
Yeah.
Like how that goes in. And yeah, it's just really cool. Really cool. But it's like And it's also once you get past the duality part too, because that's even like the part that's going on, which you're still, because it's what is it? It it's not the universe. It's there's like a saying. It's like it's universe. Like so, everything that you're seeing is what you've called in. Like
Hmm.
anything, the more you judge, you're gonna see like the things that you're judging keep popping up. You're gonna keep
And that's what
attracting.
becomes your version of the universe. Is that
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and then if you're still looking at the dual like, that's why things happen with the duality is, like, you're still thinking everything's good, bad,
Your universe is
even,
consisted of it, and that's all it is.
like, the universe I woke up I've been waking up and getting these quotes in my head that
Hmm.
now they all just make sense, but this one was, like, the first thing like, just woke up and it was like, "The universe isn't happening to you, it's happening for you." But if
Hmm.
you keep having this, like, victim mentality or, like, the martyr mentality, like, "Why is this happening?" Which I used to have that for a while, right? Like, I mean, I think
Hmm.
everybody does.
Yeah.
But when you keep doing that, you'll still keep getting that stuff. But when you realize that the universe is happening for you, it's like, okay, what lessons can I learn here? What is this? What is the universe trying to teach me? And then when like it's I even just think like even with the new like spirituality of what everybody's kind of learning, like even what we're learning, what we were learning too, it's there's still the good and the bad aspect there.
Yeah.
There's still that it's still in every area, the good bad, like but you still need to go above that and
Yeah.
and and have come from a place of no judgment, 0 point neutrality, the void, like just
Hmm.
rising above that.
I was wondering, because we were talking about thought earlier, is that duality, is that because thought is seeping in and the thought concept of good and bad? Because that's, if you think about it, most of our thoughts that come in are we're thinking about things that we consider bad that might be happening, or we're thinking about memories of good things that happened. And so all of our thoughts have that duality. So is that just a little portion of it that's just that's seeping in to into the gateway with us? So when we go in there, we still have some of that thought penetrating. And so
That's
it's
really
not allowing us
yeah.
to get above it because we're still have one foot in, I guess, or something like that.
It's really interesting because when you said that, the first thing that like came to mind, and I haven't thought of this for a really long time, but you know that
Mhm.
day, like when was it? Like back in February, I had that whole like enlightenment day where I saw like better than what I can see with my eyes, and I like got the whole story of time and like from different planets and what was really clear and what I could see in like like color. There's so much color around,
Mhm.
and it was that we're both the good and the bad. And what they were showing me was like a picture of a white dragon and a picture of a
Mm.
black dragon.
Yeah.
So that there's like a you. I think this is more metaphorically, but it was like there was a you that's good and fighting for the good, but there's also the you that's bad. Like so, I guess maybe like your shadow self.
Yeah.
And then they were talking about that, and then I could see like there was a white dragon and the black dragon like fighting even. So that's even like what you're still kind of going with the good and the bad or the that stuff. It's like almost like a mind thing.
Mhm.
And then it was after a little while after that that I transcended above into like the void and realizing that
Mm.
everybody's one and transcending above that. And then I felt like I was just like little specks, like of energy, little blobs of energy, and I couldn't like it was like almost like you didn't have that feeling. You weren't you didn't have any attachment to the good or the bad of which what I had before when I was
Yeah.
viewing some stuff. But when I got above that, that looked really creepy. But when I got above that, then and I didn't have any attachment to anything, and I didn't have any like feelings of yeah being pulled in one way, and I felt completely like new like again the 0 point neutrality the void
Yeah.
that thing realizing that your god your source that was the feeling that I had and I didn't realize that at first like there was so much that happened that day I didn't even know what to think with that was just one of the things but that's where we all need to be I mean not all the time but like in order to have like to see where what's best like to coming from a place and that's also why like when you go to someone else, say
Yeah.
like if you ask a question, like I remember Natty saying this too, like if you ask a question about yourself, like, you don't always get a clear answer. Like you'll get one answer and then you'll get another answer. And it's it's because you're attached to that. But if you go and ask someone else, that, like if you're doing like a
Yeah.
psychic reading or something, they'll have a clear answer because they're not attached to it. But if you go and come from the place of no attachment, then you can also get the answer for yourself
Yeah.
too.
Because if you're at that spot, you have no attachment because neither answer or, well, like there, it just becomes an answer instead of, oh, I didn't like that answer. Let me ask it again. Oh, maybe I heard this answer instead, and then it alters in your mind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you're then you're doing what you're kind of asking, but you really just want to go in the way that you are
Yeah,
attached to.
you're just like, yeah, you're like, I don't really care where do you want me to go right or left? I don't really care which way you want to go. I just need to know which one. And that's your neutral mindset. And it says right. It's like, okay, fine. That's where we're going. And you accept that. Because there's no right or wrong. It just is. It's just the answer.